I know you didn't think we were, but we are live. It is 3:12 Central Standard Time in the United States, 9:12 BST in the UK. It's the Nomad Tech Project with Sam and Joe.
Hey.
Coming to you live this 23rd day of June, 2024. And thank you. We were off last week. It was Father's Day. So we're good. There's a little bit of an echo there. Did you fix that?
Yeah, my Pixel Fold had the volume on.
Okay. So anyway, so we're back. We're back and better than ever. We're rested. Joe is wearing his hat backwards, which I didn't know that anybody over the age of 30 did, but that's okay.
Yep, that's what I do, man.
It's fine. And yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So it's anyway, so how you been, man? How was your dad's day? Did you do something fun, enjoyable, have a nice time off?
Yeah, I didn't do too much, to be honest. But it was good. It's good. I got an England shirt.
There you go.
Over the moon with, because they're not cheap, mate. They're ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, they are in the United States too. If you get like kit or T-shirts or well, anything like what the players would wear, right? So a sweater, a jersey, a kit, whatever stuff is expensive. It just is. It's because people will pay for it.
I'd say over the last 4 years, it's really inflated.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we had a pandemic, so that kind of helps. And then as far as helps, not really. I mean, it makes the prices go up, but you know, they've always been kind of expensive. But yeah, things just have gotten. And the problem is people will continue to buy it. So you know, and that's the problem. You know, it's true. So if everybody just stopped buying kit and shirts and merch, then they would either stop selling it, which I don't think they would, or they would sell it for a price.
Oh, mine, but they've got more expensive and thinner. I'm sure they've got thinner.
Well, and the funny thing is there was a big controversy at the beginning of the Major League Baseball season here in the States because they changed the supplier for the Major League Baseball uniforms. And the letters are smaller, and the pants and the shirts on some uniforms didn't match. The colors were off. The material was not as good. I mean, it was just all sorts of basically a big bunch. I mean, people are still, and I don't know if they're Nike outfits now or whatever, but they switched uniform providers, and people were very unhappy about it. Generally, they really didn't like the fit. The players mostly, because obviously they're wearing them in the field, but they were really complaining about all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's that's
the thing, Sam. I get the replica, so it's not the actual, because you can buy the actual player's version as well, and that's just obscene money.
Yeah, and then we have those too. So we'll have replica baseball jerseys, and then you have like the real authentic ones, and they're really I think the one, and then the worst, and I don't know, and I'm sure it's like this in the UK. But if you go to the stadium or if you go to the field, wherever they're always more expensive. Like if you're at it's just like it's almost twice. It's really crazy where you can get it, locally a little bit more affordable.
But you want to support your club though, so it's
and I would say that between the tickets and the concessions, that's a pretty good way to support your club. I don't think but I get it, and it's fine. So I'm glad. I saw somebody sent me a video of I guess the Turkey own goal. That was kind of funny.
I've not seen it actually. I've heard about it though. He just wasn't looking, was he?
Well, I think it looks like, and you kind of don't. They were gonna, like, the camera starts to move like they were gonna they're gonna make the play. Well, it looks like he was trying to just get it back to his keeper, and I guess the keeper was coming into the box. He was coming up to the top of the box, and I guess didn't see it, and he kind of went and kind of just kicked it. And he and the I guess the defender try to run as fast as they can. He jumps into the net, and of course it already crossed the white line, so it was all a goal. But oops,
not a good look at a major tournament.
That sucks. Hey, you know what? It happens, right? I mean, what are you gonna do? So I don't even know what the end of that match was. I think it was Turkey and Portugal. I thought was who it was.
Yeah, I think they got battered. I didn't see the end result, but I think they got a battering.
Yeah, so I don't think the own goal really kind of, well, maybe it kind of changed the tempo of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure the heads were dropped quite rapidly after that.
Yeah, that was a bad idea. That sucks. Anyway, so hey, own goals happen. I'm sure England's committed a few own goals in their lives.
Yep.
Same thing. I mean, it's kind of it's not a new thing. So anyway, I guess we better talk tech. So now we've had it been 2 weeks ish with the Sony think it's 2 weeks, right? 2.5.
Yes.
Something like that.
Yeah, I've got the Sony still, but my SIM has gone back into the OnePlus.
Oh, really? Well, explain.
Yeah.
That didn't. I thought it would take longer than that, or if at all.
And it's not a slight on the Sony at all. It's more the fact that I was itching to put it back in the OnePlus because I really do like the OnePlus 12. I'd say it's my favourite phone of 2024 so far that I've tried. All round, it's good at everything, I think. Hasn't got the AI stuff in it though, but it's fine. I'm not all about the AI life anyway.
Well, and then you talk like the circle to search and stuff like that, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
I guess that comes in handy if you're trying to look for something specifically, or if you're shopping for something. Maybe I've used it a couple times on the Fold. It works okay. It's a little spotty. Sometimes it doesn't. I don't know if it's either you don't capture the right article or there's something in the background. It gets confused. I've had sometimes where it comes back with no response, or it says I can't help what you're looking for. So I'm not 100% sure. It works out pretty good.
Do you know what phone's really good for search?
Pixel.
S24 Ultra with the S Pen.
Right.
Really good.
Absolutely.
Perfect for it.
And that's what I got with my, I got the S Pen. So obviously I got a bigger
canvas.
Of course, yeah. Eric's in the chat. Hey, Eric, how are you going, sir?
Hey.
So Peter's in the chat, and Jimmy, make sure you hydrate. We are back. And Nick, let's see who else we got. And then everybody, sorry, I was handling something right before the show started, and so I apologize for being later than normal. Usually
you scored an own goal.
Yeah, I scored an own goal. That's what I did. So anyway, it's what are you gonna do? And then you also still have the Fold. And so how have you been getting on with the Fold?
It hasn't had much of my attention. So when I went to Radio 1 Big Weekend, I took my SIM out of it and put it into the Ultra again for that event. It never went back into this. I've got it charged up today, so I can have the chat on it because it's really good for this use case. I think I'm more of a slab guy myself. I just have to admit it. Because the cameras are.
And I don't think there's anything right, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But even if the cameras were exactly the same as the OnePlus 12, I just don't think that form factor works for you, and that's just fine.
Although I like the Duo, so I don't know.
Well, that's and again, that the argument is that's not a foldable. That's a dual screen device. So
it's different, isn't it?
It's totally different. And I know everybody kind of thinks, well, if you can still do all the same things you did on the Duo, and yeah, you could, but that's not the native. The native response for the Duo is multitasking with two screens. The native of a foldable is just the same screen with a larger canvas for that screen. It's not designed to be multitasked. That's not what the foldable is for. It's a tablet. So where the Duo was designed to two screens doing two things, and anytime you did anything on the phone, that was the default behavior, was to multitask off the jump. You had to dig.
Issue is, although it's built like a tank, I can't afford for this inner screen to get broken, and I just have this fear every time I touch it that it's going to break. Yeah.
Well, like I said, I've had this, the Fold 5, and I don't know what the build quality is on that one, because those I've never used. I've never. It's the only foldable I've used is the Fold, or the Flip, and also the Moto Razor. But
that backfired. The only fold I've used is and this. And this.
Yeah. Basically, now that I think about it, is it just basically and maybe Peter, and it might be, it may not be. I don't know. It is we could do that. We could not do that. I'm not going to go on the Windows Phone. Everybody knows. But what I'm saying though is with the Duo and then foldables, it's just comparing them. It's convenient, like comparing a slab phone to a Fold. It's just not the same.
Thing. Not the same thing.
Which kind of stinks, because again, I do like the Duo. I like the form factor, but I also realize that that's gone because Microsoft's not going to do anything with it anymore, which is a shame. And folds, we're kind of, it feels like we're in this weird spot, like where I don't really know if companies are sold on it. I can tell you right now, it doesn't seem to be, I've only run across a few instances in the wild where somebody else has a Fold or a Flip. Not many. It's kind of like where I see like a OnePlus or Sony every once in a while, or something like that. You'll see a phone that you don't see very often. The only other person I know there is somebody else I work with at the other job I have. He's got a Fold, but I think it's the 4 or even the 3. I can't remember which one it was.
So you're less likely to see them, aren't you? Really, in the US?
Oh God, yeah.
See,
yeah, well, just because all you got is really the Pixel. You got, and the OnePlus, I mean, it is available in the US, but I mean, you can't just get that in the carrier store. So you're gonna have to order that directly from them or pick it up secondhand.
Yeah.
But
you
don't
get
have
things like AliExpress, like quite
right.
Like
and you don't have Vivo, and you can't, you don't have Vivo, you don't have,
Mm.
Xiaomi, you don't have any of the other foldable devices. So you're kind of stuck with the Fold. And I also, again, and I think it's because in the United States, basically it's an Apple world. So if Apple were to do it, then maybe it gets traction. But even then, I don't know if it's going to be. I think it would be kind of look at with the Vision Pro. Like look at that situation, right? That came out, it's all hyped, it's great, and now I mean nobody's talking about it.
Shrink
nothing.
It'd be a very high price if Apple did it.
Oh God, yeah. If they did any kind of like if they did a foldable, which I don't think I would think that their first device would be an iFlip. I think is what it'd be.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would go with that form factor because that I think that is more of what their users would kind of be willing to use. Because remember, it goes into a normal size phone. The foldable would be really hard for an Apple user at first, especially people who have been on Apple their whole lives, because that's a completely different form factor, and they wouldn't. I think it would be a little bit too much for them to take. So yes. I think if Apple were to do an iFlip, I think that would be it, because I will tell you that people that I use, I have the Moto and the Fold, and they're mostly Apple people, some Android people, but mostly Apple. Everybody I show it to is amazed at it. They think it's like, again, just because they're amazed at it, I don't think that necessarily directly translates to them like, oh, well, I've got to get that. Like, that's not what it is. It's like, wow, that's pretty cool. I can see myself using that, but nah, I don't really care because I'm just using my phone the way I use my phone, right? But I always get a lot of it. It gets a lot of attention, and then when you start to show some basic stuff, you don't go deep dive, right? Oh, he can do this, and can take a selfie and all that kind of stuff. It definitely gets their attention. They kind of can say, yeah, I could see myself. But I think a flip style device for Apple would be where they would go first. And I still think they would get some interest in it, but I don't think Apple users are ready for that kind of a radical shift in form factor yet. No, there's nothing that's driving them, unless if Apple were smart, which they probably would do, is they'll probably try to make it like they did the original iPhone, the same marketing. Like, you're only cool if you've got the new iPhone. Like you can have the basic slab iPhone. And I think they should do that only because they're like, well, they would cannibalize their sales because people would buy the Flip, but they wouldn't buy the regular iPhone 16. Here's the difference.
It's all
their stuff. They're not cannibalizing nothing. It's not like there's no OEMs for Apple. It's them. So every device that goes out the door, they win. So that's where a difference is. Like a Samsung or a Google might be not want to push their Fold, because then if you buy a Fold, you won't buy another Pixel device, right? But if you're an Apple, they can totally prop that up because you're buying another Apple device. They don't care. They're like, we win either way. If you get the 16 or the iFlip 1 or whatever, shit, you're good. You're still buying Apple stuff. So we don't care.
One.
Or whatever they want to call it. I don't know. Flip off. I don't know. Who knows?
Flip off.
But yeah, I mean, and iFlip sounds like a drinking game. Yeah, I can see that. That tracks.
With beer mats.
Companies might not be sold on foldables, but they're sold on the idea of selling more. Oh, of course. Oh, yeah.
Yep, that's for sure.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And I get that too. And I do think so. I think that's where it is. And so we'll see how it goes. Obviously, everything about anything with Apple and a different form factor at this point is all speculation and hearsay, right? And they may never do it. I mean, I can see. Yeah.
Samuel, I think if Apple was going to do anything foldable, I think it would be in their iPad range. That's where I see it, in their iPad range.
Yeah, but then what? But then why? But then what would you? I guess to make the iPad more pocketable.
Yeah.
Okay,
an iPad Pro, but it goes as small as a iPad Mini almost. So it's
people would still use like they would fold it. It would still have an outside screen. So basically, iPad Mini on the outside to an iPad Pro when you need it.
Kind of, yeah. That type of.
I think that would work. Only problem is there a different? Is there a disparity between the iPad Mini and the Pro as far as hardware and SoC and stuff like that? I think there is.
Exactly, there is.
So now what? What are you going to do? Two different foldables?
So but the foldables. Well, it depends how they do it. You'd think they'd go with this Pro type of specs because it's going to be a high-end device, right? Mm-hmm. So you could have that smaller form factor and fold it out. I mean,
I think if you did that, you'd have to push the specs to where more of the iPad Pro.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it'd have to be. Yeah, it'd have to be because the price it would be crazy high.
Yeah, I mean that would work and take the place of a Mini. Yeah, I mean, again, but that's where I think Apple struggles with it. I just don't think they know exactly what. I mean, obviously they can't cannibalize their own sales because it's all Apple, but I guess that they don't want to derail. I don't know. I think when it comes, and I think they're looking at the Vision Pro, and I think the main reason for the Vision Pro being kind of like not on anybody's radar anymore is because you have the Meta Quest and you have other AR devices that are way more affordable, right? You can get a Meta Quest for what, $300-400, totally okay. Yeah. So if you're getting the Vision Pro, either one have to be just a completely bleeding edge alpha kind of tech dude, lady, human, whatever, or you have to have I mean, $3,500 is a significant amount of money as opposed to if they would have came out with a more of a base model Vision, an Apple Vision Lite, call it what you will, or an Apple Vision normal, and make that like $1,500, $1,800. Maybe that starts to get traction, but I think at $3,500, like I don't hear anybody talking about it at all. Like no tech pundits. I mean, I'm sure they still have them.
They're still
or they got rid of them and they can't say anything about it because they don't have it anymore and they don't want to basically say, hey, you basically leaned into that same trope that you basically do is you guys buy the new thing and try to get Apple to sell a bunch of them and you ain't going to keep it yourself because you're full of shit.
They got them free as samples, didn't they? Probably.
Oh, I'm sure most of them probably did, but I don't know. Apple they don't really seem to care about that kind of stuff. So,
they do. They're big on their marketing, aren't they? They definitely have ties with people. Definitely.
Google's never making a Pixel Flip. I don't think they're.
I don't think so.
I just don't think they're going to want to do that. It would be nice. Now, that would be a phone I would probably main all the time. I mean, part of the reason why I stick with Moto, and I like the Razr, but we're back into that same problem with the Moto. Again, the Think phone's on Android 14, yet the Razr still on a May security patch on 13. And here we are again. Like, that's the problem with Moto. If you buy a Moto device, you absolutely are going to have to take two things into consideration. Well, probably three. More to be, right? One, it's not going to be anywhere in the neighborhood of getting the same kind of update cadence or at all. And two, you're not going to get security patches because there are that, in the Android versions, you're not going to get 7 years probably, right? And the other thing,
they're improving with their higher end devices.
I don't know. I haven't used any of the 50 Pros or any of the new stuff that's come out, but I heard that. But the Razr was supposed to be the one that they had a longer Android update cycle, and they were supposed to be like, we're going to be dedicated to it. And I've had that Flip for that Razr for a while, and it just, I think a week ago, got May. It was on March.
That's pretty good for Moto, though.
Well, it's pretty good for Moto, but unfortunately now that's not good for anybody else, and that's why you see the other. I've seen other creators like the Steve Alicious and Andrew and Adam, people who cover Android and cover Moto devices pretty, and even Dan is covering Moto too. It's like everything is there to be a really solid device that can compete in the lower, high, mid range kind of area, and here's the thing. It's like, I can't, I mean, I could think about getting a 50 Pro, right? The new 50 series, but it's like, am I going to be in the same situation with Moto? Again, for least luckily for me, I don't live and die by security patches. Cause I think honestly, the security patches are a little overrated if you're just basically doing the Play Store stuff.
Sir. My OnePlus is on my as well.
Okay. Well, it should Yeah, but Android. I mean, I'm sorry, OnePlus has been doing pretty good. I mean, I know that other people have gotten updates and stuff, and I know they do pretty well. But that's the one thing. And then also with the camera, with the Moto, again, the camera is always where it kind of starts to become a little bit of a problem. People really start to kind of. That's where, and for folks that are really camera centric like you and other people, although it seems like whenever Dan has his Moto, he seems to really enjoy using that phone and that camera. He seems to really thinks the output's pretty good, although it may be some computational photography and hardware that may not be up there. He seems to be.
I think their hardware is not bad. I think it's just their processing. I think, isn't it? That's probably the issue.
It could be, and I would unfortunately, I'd have to lean on somebody else in our group here who would be.
I've never had one, so yeah, I'd have to try one day. And
let's see, Aditya is calling me out. Thank you for being here, Aditya, by the way. I love you. I don't think there's any cannibalizing of sales. It's just all Apple, as you said. Yeah. Like I said, again, that's what Apple is good is, if they say we're going to push this new iFlip and then you don't buy an iPhone 16, who cares because you bought an iPhone? I think that's the difference. And I think that's their that's kind of their insulating business practice, right? They know they can try a different. If anybody could pull off and absorb some growing pains with a new segment as far as like a flip or a fold, it would be Apple, because if people go out, let's say 10% of people try the new iFlip or the foldable iPhone 16, they still sold the unit and it's still going to Cupertino. So it doesn't matter. They still
probably don't see it as a big enough market to bother. I don't think they see it because it's not a huge market, is it, the flippy dippy?
I think it is. I think it's that. But man, can you imagine? Look at how they've handled iOS 18 as far as like some of the software features and how they've hyped them up. And they're basically Android features that have been around for a while.
And some of them look ugly.
and honestly, but if you sit there and think about it, can you imagine if they say, "Hey, I'm telling you right now, if Apple made a flippable iPhone like the clamshell, like Flippy Dippy, you can't tell me people wouldn't be just completely cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs over that phone." If anything, it's because it makes them, because then you're that person, right? Apple's prided themselves on being that styled, hip. Like, dude, can you imagine being out at a club and you've got your iPhone? So it all does all the iPhone stuff, right? All your integrations, your iMessage, all that stuff, right? But then you're sitting there, you're talking to your friends, and you're a woman, and you're doing it, and you have the little. But also, remember, phones used to be like that, right? That's not a totally different. Like they're used to. Whenever I shut it and I show people it's a Razor, people go, "Oh, I had one of those back in the day." These are pre-iPhone.
That was before Apple's time,
right? But I'm saying though is you can lean into that nostalgia play because people know what a Razor is. You don't obviously have to call it that because clearly it's trademarked to Motorola. But what I'm saying though is there's enough people that I think that, plus it's new. Like, you know what? We decided.
I agree with you that it would sell, but I don't think Apple would do it. I just think they wanted to steer people away from that, right? The smartphone, I think so. Their vision of the smartphone is the slab.
Yeah, I know, but that's what it's such an interesting discussion because you would think if anybody could pull that off and be successful, it'd be Apple, and they don't. It seems like leadership doesn't want any part of it, but I think their customers.
They could also really flop on it as well, though, Sam.
But remember, what do they could, but they could absorb it. They flopped on a bunch of other stuff, and they can handle that. It's especially a hardware, thing.
Yeah.
But I just, the way that Apple's marketing is set up, I just can't. I mean, it seems like a slam dunk to me. And to be fair, I'm going to say this with all. I'm not objective about it because I do see value in the form factor. So I'm not just saying this because I'm like, so I'm biased, right? I know, all I know is if Apple shoes, I would totally get that thing to market. And maybe they are, but they're like Apple. They want to make sure that it's, because there's people going to have the same worries, right? Okay, is it going to be durable? If I drop it, what's this going to be? How, obviously repair, right? Because that's a big thing for Apple, right? App repair, going to an Apple store, Care, Apple Care. Well, are you going to be able to repair that? Or is Apple just going to say, bite the bullet, just replace units that fail, right? Acceptable failure rate, 5%. Okay, well, that's going to be a thing. And then now the people are like, I don't want to do it because it's dirt. I don't know. There's a lot of scared. There's a lot of things that could cause them to be a problem. But man, if you are a foldable or flippable fan, you have got to hope and pray in the United States that Apple gets on board. Because if they don't, I don't think it goes anywhere. I'd say in 5 to 7 years.
Sam, because I think there's enough Chinese brands doing it and continue with it. Because there's rumors that OnePlus will do a flippy dippy, which makes sense.
Can you imagine like a 12 flip or a 13 flip? Oh, that would be
Well,
especially
if they can
like
the Oppo one, the Oppo one.
Especially if they can hit the price and make it competitive. That would really work out pretty good. Like if they can make that thing competitive price wise, that might be pretty good.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. It's an interesting situation. But I mean, also, with iOS 18, what do you think about RCS coming to iOS 18? Think that's cool? I don't know. It seems like there's still going to be green bubbles, right? So it doesn't really matter.
It's not going to be encrypted as well, isn't it? Is that right?
Right.
When it's Android to iPhone. I mean, they're doing it because they kind of have to, because they promised it, but they're not doing it full-fledged RCS, are they? So, yeah, it's just doing things Apple's way. I don't like it. What's Nick saying?
Well, knowing Apple, they've already made a flip. And I agree. Apple is want to make sure that they're not gonna push. I remember, didn't they have what was that thing called? Was it AirPad? The charging pad that had a bunch of stuff on it, right? There was and they couldn't get it. It wasn't like there was still some hardware failures with it, and so they were just like, screw it, we'll shelve it. If Apple is going to bring them, I have to give Apple one piece of credit. They're not going to bring anything hardware-wise that isn't totally flushed out as far as best as they can do it. Obviously, you're still going to air power.
Software-wise, they might, though.
Yeah, air power. Air charge. Yeah, I guess it was overheating and causing a problem. Yeah, and that was a problem. And then Apple just said, fuck it, we can't make it work, and it just shit can it all, right? So I agree. I think Nick's right on here. I think Apple, if they've made a flip or have it in development, although if they had anything other than a prototype, I cannot imagine that wouldn't be leaked. I don't think there's going to be, I think there's too many. That would be so, I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe who cares? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's like, I don't know. I think it's interesting what Apple is going to do. And unfortunately, at least in the United States, they kind of set the trends on stuff, and we'll have to wait and see. But I think they could do a flip. I think that's where I would go. I think a flip would be the way to go, because I think that would hit for most of the people of their core user group. I think the flip makes more sense for them. Right.
I wish they never dropped the Mini. I thought that was a great product.
What were the main problems with the Mini though, right? The battery life, right? And stuff like that.
Yeah, but it got better from the 12 to the 13, so I could see them improving it in time. But
do you think a lot of people really want a smaller, even Apple users? Do you think a lot of people are clamoring for a smaller device?
Yeah. I'm cell phones day to day, and I get so many people. I have to sell them the 11, 12, or 13. They're like, "Oh, it's a lot bigger, isn't it?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm afraid so. That's the smallest one they do." I'm like, "You could go to the Android side if you want. I could say something slightly smaller." They're like, "No, I need an iPhone." I was like, "Well, that's what you got then." And I still sell some SEs because of it. And that's a shit phone. In 2024, that's a shit phone.
Right. And well, how much? I guess my question is, how much are you selling at retail for?
Overpriced, I think. I think it's still around. I don't know. Actually, I think it's about 385 quid, maybe more. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But it's terrible. It's a terrible phone.
Air power. Yeah. So they shit canned it. And basically, they couldn't get it to work. It was overheating, causing an issue. They're like, nope, we're done with it. Now, does that mean they're going to completely kill the air power thing? Maybe not. I don't know. I mean, there's enough charging situations going on. Maybe they won't have to worry about it. But But I think Apple
battery life. All right.
Yeah.
This Sony's very good battery life.
Yeah, that's what Dan said. He said it's really good.
It is very, very good. The OnePlus 12 is very, very good as well.
Well, here's the thing. And when it comes to battery life, if you have that speed of charging, battery life is irrelevant to me. It just makes it irrelevant. I mean, if you can, it doesn't matter. Even if that let's say it had 3 hours of screen on time, if you could plug it in at your desk or driving, and you could get it from 0 to 70% in 30 minutes or 20 minutes, whatever, your battery situation is not worth. I don't want to hear about it anymore. So, I mean, again, when you have a phone like the Pixel Fold or Pixels that charge slower, that becomes more of a concern. When you have a OnePlus,
Very annoying.
Your battery, your SoC or SOT is, I don't care about it. It's a lot.
Again, that's why the SIM's gone back into there, because
OnePlus.
it lasts
Plus,
a
I
long
just
time.
like the design of it. I just love the form factor. It's just great. I don't like that case though.
Beautiful.
The case is whack, dude.
Shut up, man! It's beautiful.
No, I've had that case before. I'm not saying that because I haven't had it. It's whack.
It's good.
It's whack. No,
is whack a good thing? Is that a good? Is that slang
whack
for good?
No, it's very not good. It's
Wackadoo.
Like, it's okay. I do like the fact that it's clear on the back so you can see the color of the phone. That's kind of nice. I do like that.
Yeah, that's why I like it.
I don't remember the brand.
Life. This bad.
Yeah, good. Let's talk about this OnePlus watch. So, like, I didn't know you bought that. Like, you didn't tell me that. Does that?
Well, it went on the MeWe group.
Well,
Yeah. And do you know what? Right, so
I don't watch the MeWe. That's fine. I suck. I know it's okay.
I used it yesterday, right?
Yeah.
The sleep tracked, and it had 78% battery last night when I sleep tracked. Woke up with 71% battery. That's pretty decent, isn't it?
No, it's very good for sleep tracking.
And it's now at 43% battery.
Ooh, you lost 30% during the day. Okay.
Yeah, but this is the second day.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, that's good. I mean, like I said,
I'm going to get into a third day.
So how much? I mean, how much was that? And did you get it did you get it when you got the 12? I don't remember you mentioning. No. You just went out and got it.
Yeah, 185. Decent.
185. That's not bad.
Yeah, decent.
Did you get directly from OnePlus, or is it something go to?
No, second hand. MeWe.
Oh, okay.
On the MeWe group.
Oh, not our week, because we don't do. Is that the phone show chat?
Oh, not our one. No, the phone show chat one. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Classified.
The classifieds. I hear some pretty. Every once in a while, I hear some pretty good deals on there. I mean, I'm like, okay.
Well, that's where I got. That's where I got this tablet for £700. That was an absolute steal as well. 5, 12, 16 gig.
That the MeWe, and also, folks, if you have not, and you do not, and you are not subscribed to Phone Show Chat, please do so. Ted and Steve do a great job. Fantastic. Also, if you are in the MeWe group, I'm bad about being online. Check out our MeWe. It's on the show notes are in there, but then check out the Phone Show Chat. They're obviously Steve and Ted do a fantastic job. We are huge fans, so I'm a little biased. I'm steering you to them because I love them. I think they're great.
Yeah, they're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant.
They've done such a great job. I just really enjoy listening to their show. It's really relaxing. It's actually nice to listen to on the way to work and stuff. I like listening to podcasts either at my office desk, sometimes if I've got a few minutes. And so check him out, Phone Show Chat. And also he's got blogs and all sorts of stuff. If you go to Steve Litchfield, I think it's stevelitchfield.com, I believe. Go check it out.
Ted does some good written stuff as well.
And Ted does great written stuff as well. And also follow this guy. You follow
definitely Eric. Follow. Yep.
Fantastic. Does good stuff. Does Lord's work. That's why he's the tech preacher.
Remember, when you say him, the audio people can't see the screen.
Oh, right, him. Oh, so that's the tech preacher. Sorry, that's Eric.
I do the same thing. I do the same thing. So,
well, they're watching. They're watching. No, they're not. They're not.
No,
for the audio podcast, there. I'm not. I don't always.
My
do
friend John Trimmer, who I swapped this fold for. He only listens to the audio version. Yeah. So I'm always mindful of people that.
And MeWe is getting a lot better, and I like that. I like the picture. That's really good. I didn't know Nick was. I guess I'm assuming it's his wife. I hope so. If it's not, his wife's gonna be mad. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. Sorry, Nick. Just kidding. So, and absolutely, man. And he does great work. And he also has a podcast. I believe it's on Wednesday nights. They does a live stream. You should check that out too. I haven't been able to participate because Wednesdays are kind of busy for me, and I'm not always available. And I don't remember. He's always busy. So he's got a lot of great folks, and those are people like LaShawn and all those people. Scoop's in there. Barry's in there. Jojo the Techie. I see him in there, and it's fantastic. And so check out his content and give him a sub and comment on his stuff. He does a really good job.
The tech
also.
Creature.
Always has something hardware, speaker, audio, microphones. Dude's got tons of shit. It makes us look like peasants when it comes to like all the stuff. We're here on like basically a basic mic and like a Logitech camera, and you got you're using a phone to do your chat. He is very professional and has a lot of nice gear.
Do you know what
And
he's like?
got
To put it in perspective, right? You know, when you're collecting football stickers or cards, right?
right.
You go to a swap shop. He's the swap shop that's got.
Oh, he's got the whole table full of the stuff. Like Eric is like dialed in, man. He has got it, and he does it all. He does.
Which one do you want?
And
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6?
Yeah, it's crazy. And then he's got
Not a lot.
audio stuff, and it's nuts. I mean, his shows are great. The production value is awesome. And instead of like maybe going to somebody like that, you know, maybe like a higher end creator, you know, check out people like Eric. He does good work. He's fantastic, and he's a fan of the show, and he's hardcore. And I like Eric a lot. He's a really good dude. So anyway, and he is very focused.
You know,
I agree.
Sam, I wish I could do that though. Like, there's so many devices that I've had to sell in the past to fund my next one, right?
Right.
And then there's some devices you just wish you could keep forever. And it's
well, I've already. Well, I took care of that. I got one of them, and you know what? And I know Peter's still fucking around in here, so that's fine. I don't care if he gets mad. And this will be the only Windows Phone reference. This is really for me, and this is for Eric because he knows how I get down.
It's
right?
nice. It's very nice.
Yeah. Anyway, so, but generally, like I said, it's one of those things where you have to kind of, you got to kind of do that, right? Unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of budget. Me and Joe aren't swimming on money, and it's okay. And so you have to do that kind of stuff. And unfortunately, we aren't having devices sent to us. Although there may be somebody here who has been able to go to Snapdragon and have devices, and so that's kind of cool. So that's really cool. And
I've been very lucky, and I think that ship sailed now for me. I think I've got my lucky streak of the 2 trips I got, and I think obviously I'll take other people now.
So mine says, "I wish I had my 3A." I don't remember that device. I mean, I remember. What I remember is the bathtub notch that I remember in the 3 series, but I don't remember the 3A. I guess it was. I'd have to look it up. But there's everybody, and I know Eric's got. It's like he's like Juan. Juan's got the drawer full of he keeps them all, right? And that makes sense. But just do yourself a favor, Eric. Don't forget. Go back, look at that drawer, make sure nothing's swollen up on you. Swollen, because some of those batteries get a little out of control, right? I will tell you right now, if I could have 3 phones with updated specs. Like right now, if I could use this phone today, I would use a Lumia 1520.
Let me guess one of them.
Okay. Lumia 1520 is the one. Oh, fuck yeah. The best phone ever.
I knew it.
Dude, HTC One M8 is literally, to me, again, this is me. Come at me, disagree with me, I don't give a shit. To me, the way the One M8 was built as far as the back, and here's the thing you notice. Well, also, do you notice something now? The back was curved.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, that doesn't make any difference because there's still a gap in your palm, and that doesn't make any sense. No, I'm telling you, when it came to and also the fact that it was a aluminum frame, like the body, it was metal. It was metal, and it was like, wow, they can't signal. Well, it's like funny. I made every phone call. I had that phone for years. The HTC One M8 to me is literally one of the best made phones probably in the last 10 years, other than maybe some iPhones, because some of the iPhones are really, really good too, hardware-wise. But the HTC One, I had a Windows and an Android version, and I'm telling you, if I had those back today, I would be I had a 1M8. I could get a 1M8. It's not a big deal. The only thing with the 1520 is I found the screen to be, like if you dropped it, it will shatter. Like the screen, like the glass is really fragile on that thing. But as far as like, I just remember having
updated specs, wouldn't you? So you get updated glass on it.
I would hopefully, but the HTC did come out with a new device. They are still in the game, folks. They are still making phones now.
Yeah,
it's not the same because it's not Sense UI, and they've gone to basically more of like a Motorola style UI. And obviously the specs are not great. And I think it's only Taiwan only, so obviously you're gonna have issues with importing and stuff like that. And no, the segment didn't start. I just showed the phone, not talk. I'm just saying, if I had. Dan, best segment. Facts. No, I'm just saying. And then the other phone I would like to have is I wish I really wish I had an updated BlackBerry Key 2. Something like that. I think I'd liked, and I almost consider getting.
You know what, Sam? Someone came in my shop with one the other day because I've not seen one in person. and
Yeah, I just
it was really nice. It
it
is
was
really,
cool.
really nice.
I thought I really wished that, obviously I really wish that somebody would pick up the BlackBerry. I really wish they would, because I
It
realize
would
it's
need a lot
super.
of work software-wise, though.
Oh yeah, and like I said, it's and again, it's a real niche. Obviously, it's a super niche product,
Mm.
right? And people aren't.
I'd
But
be
man,
interested, though.
I will tell you this much: whenever I had an HTC, I had the Key 2 for a little while, and I took it to work one day. I remember one of my coworkers, she's a product owner, looked over and goes, "Holy shit, is that a BlackBerry?" And I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Holy cow! I remember having those. Those were the phones prior to iPhones. At work, everybody had a BBM, Blackberries, and then and it's funny watching professionals, people like in business and the professional space, dude. They will they have like immediate, not only just like flashbacks, but like really go like nostalgic love for that. Like, holy shit, I remember having a BlackBerry back in the day, dude. And I'll tell you, the next statement out of their mouth is always this: "Man, if BlackBerry still made phones, I would buy one tomorrow." I loved my BlackBerry. I've never had anybody say they
I
hated
love
it.
physical keyboard. That's why I would love it. I see value in it, because
Man,
what you do with your phone mostly, you message people, right?
right. Well,
So
also
who
what I like,
cares if part of the screen is gone for a really
right.
good keyboard?
I still like the fact that so the typing was fun. It took a while though. When you're trying to switch back to a BlackBerry, it took a while.
Yeah.
But what was weird is I loved having the shortcuts. So having just hit S and it would launch something, and it hit Shift S and it would launch. Dude, it was so great because you didn't even need a home screen. It's like if you had 10 or 12 apps that you use all the time, like message, you hit M, but it goes to messages. And the fact that the keyboard was actually
Imagine
a
you
scroll
could
wheel,
put functions on any key you wanted. Imagine you could do different functions. So like the T could be a torch or
well, plus
whatever. You
also
could do
right.
all sorts, couldn't you?
Right, or even use even steal the Moto gesture with the chop, right? I still think as far as camera launch and flashlight, nothing beats a Moto. I don't care what anybody says. The fact that you can just do the chop and you have the light come on, you don't have to go into the UI and do it. The phone doesn't be completely off, and you can still do it. Same thing with the camera.
The keyboard would have to be hugely functional and to do stuff like that for anyone to buy into it, though, wouldn't they? Like, they'd have to make it really, really good for that.
Yeah, and no joke, if BlackBerry was still working TCL, dude, I still think, dude, man. Yeah, they're in this, and then they should be, because again, that was another thing that I liked about having a BlackBerry, a DT, was having the security, right? It was the software suite. It was security focused. And I think, and Juan made this comment, and I didn't know this, but and I think it's still true. Nobody has ever rooted a BlackBerry device.
Oh, really?
They have never been, no, they've not been able to root. You cannot root or put flash and ROM or nothing. It's completely locked down. I think they even had something where they had, I don't know if they had like what Apple does where they have like a bounty, but I think nobody has ever rooted a BlackBerry on Android. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. But yep.
And, I feel like putting a challenge out there for people.
dude, the hub, the message hub on BlackBerry was awesome. It was so good. And like I said, and he just turned on the Moto flashlight, and I want to, and as a
communication device, right? It's the best, isn't it?
I would argue that if you're using it for communication or business, or even just communication, it's really probably one of the top devices. I'm not saying you can't do business with anything else, because clearly, obviously, iPhone, right? However, I just think it's just a shame, because all these different devices, the HTCs, BlackBerry with a physical keyboard, right? Foldables, flippables. It's funny is, if you want to have other phones besides the Slab, and you think the Slab phone has peaked, we're at peak smartphone, like what's the next thing? Well, you gotta support those things that make sense. Like I'm telling you, once you have a foldable, it's really hard for me to go back to a Slab phone, because nothing beats getting to this. It just doesn't. Unless you're Joe and you're lame and you don't have no life and you're closed-minded.
Don't get wrong, I do like it, and now I'm playing with it with the chat. I was thinking I need to sell this because I'm not using it, and it's like it's blasphemy.
Is it unlocked?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Before you sell it, we should talk offline. Anyway, has anybody ever used BlackBerry Passport? I think it was a business phone for the 21st century. I don't know. I've heard. I thought it was a software thing. Maybe is it a hardware thing? I don't know. Yeah, he's using a Fold. I think you purchased that, right? Secondhand market?
No, so I was selling my Pixel 8 Pro to John Trimmer, who I mentioned earlier.
Right. Okay.
Because he really wanted one, because him and his missus went to Pixels. And then he said randomly, how would you feel about swapping for the Pixel Fold? And at first I was like, I really want the money. But then I was like warming up to the trying it. Every time I thought about it, I was like, oh, I would like to try one. Oh, Hungary's just scored against Scotland. Oh, bad news for Scotland. Anyway, yeah, I thought, let's give it a go then.
Is there a match going on right now?
Yeah, it's in the 99th minute.
Oh no,
99
10 minutes of extra time?
Yeah,
really?
10 minutes. Yeah.
Was there a lot of stuff going? I mean, I have to ask, because this doesn't make any fucking sense to me as an American. First of all, did you see the thing I sent you about soccer? Didn't like that, did you? Didn't like it, huh? I think it's real. Do yourself a favor.
I think I've heard that before, actually, about association.
Well, here's the thing. I don't know if it's real, because maybe it's a theory that fits facts. However, if that's really how it went down, you Brits can kiss my ass when it comes to soccer and calling it that, because you assholes started the word soccer. If that's true, soccer is your word that we use, and you didn't want to be like an American.
And we stopped using it. When did we stop using it?
How many years ago? I don't know, like 150, 200 years ago. It's fine. It doesn't matter.
So it's a very old word. It's like saying... I could make up loads of more old words we stopped using.
Right. I get it. Like, yeah, I get it. I understand. I'm just saying, I just wanted to be clear that apparently the word soccer originated in the UK.
Yep.
Okay.
And it could have been soccer.
It could have been, I think it would, Asser would have been better. I think I would have liked that better. Asser would have been better.
Asser.
Is that really a thing where they take, is that really a thing where they take the first syllable and they put an at the end? Like, is that really a British? I didn't know that. I never heard.
Yeah, ruggers is a real thing.
Ruggers? Okay.
Yeah, that's a real thing for rugby. Yeah, if you want to play some ruggers, that's an old term, but yeah.
But I mean, but Brits did used to do that first syllable and then put an ER.
Yeah. I mean, that was upper class. Like, yeah. Oh. That was upper class, wasn't it? Right.
I don't. Sure, you're asking me.
I'll rewatch your video you sent.
Oh yeah, the pad. Okay, so it was the phone. Yeah, it was this big wide. It was almost like square. The BlackBerry passport. Okay. So
passport.
Yeah, you know what's funny is they still sell the P. So on AT&T you can still use two phones for BlackBerry: the Key 1 and the Priv. God, I almost want to try a Priv just because it was cool. That was That was all screen that had the sliding keyboard. The only phone I ever had that had the slide was the Mi Mix 3. That had the slide. I really liked doing that. Yeah, Dad had a passport. Brits used it first, but it was sucker and misheard it soccer. Okay, that's fine, but still your fault, right? We just misheard it. That's okay. So that's okay. That's fine. I get you.
Oh no, the skin's coming off here.
Is that extreme skin?
No. So we better
see, that's the reason why, because you didn't get one from extremeskins.co.uk. Check them out. That's our channel sponsor. We love those guys. We love their work. Love their products. Get yourself.
Just don't like their communication skills.
Their communication skills sometimes a little. Well, apparently they don't like Joe, and they don't talk to me because apparently I'm an American. So maybe that's probably part of it. I don't know. All right, Peter. Have a good night. See you next time. Absolutely, sir. Thank you for swinging by and generally giving me the business. I appreciate you, sir. Appreciate that. Anyway, so and the passport did run Android, I believe. Okay. So anyway, yeah, it's cool. So you should get yourself an screen skin. Check them out. We don't have a code yet. We're still working through that. I think we've been saying it for like 2 or 3 months, but yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Let's be fair. We're not exactly driving a lot of revenue for this company. So
that's true.
Right. I'm sure if we were somebody like Mr. Who's the Boss, or I wanted to ask people in the chat, did anybody see what the Jonathan Morrison situation is? Had anybody been following that? I guess he was sick for a while or had some kind of issue. I hadn't seen his videos for a while, and I thought maybe he's taking a break, but apparently he was going through some medical stuff with his vision.
Yeah, I've briefly saw it, but
I didn't get into it, and then I guess somebody was getting shitty because he decided to open up I guess like a charity thing or whatever for medical. Who knows? I don't know. And everybody's getting shit. I'm like, here's the thing, folks. Here's the bottom line when it comes to having like a double vision. Okay, yeah. So anyway,
wow.
here's how it works. If somebody starts a GoFundMe campaign or whatever to raise money for something because of whatever, and they're telling you what it's for, if you don't want to participate in it, and if you if you think it's horseshit, right? They're basically trying to milk their followers and try to steal money so they can go to a trip to Cabo or wherever the hell you guys think they're trying to do. Just don't contribute to it. Just don't send him money. That's fine. If you don't want to give Jonathan Morrison money because you think he's a kick-ass YouTuber, he should have spent his money or whatever, don't. But don't sit there and give this guy shit because he's like, well, you're a fucking YouTuber. You make millions of dollars. First of all, you have unless you're his accountant, you have no idea what the guy really is pulling down.
You have no idea.
You have no idea. Again, I'm not going to contribute to Jonathan Morrison. Does that mean I don't care about a situation? I'm not empathetic to it? Yeah, absolutely. He seemed like a decent guy, but I don't know the motherfucker. And when I say that, I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't know the guy. Like, I've never met any of these people. You know, like I said, I've never met Marquez. I've never met any of these folks. I have no idea what they look like, talk like. Again, I hear them on TV, but I don't know what they are in their personal life. They could be completely garbage human beings. They could have accountants out the day. If you don't feel comfortable because you think that the reason why they're offering a giveaway or a GoFundMe is whack or it's bad or they're trying to goose people, just don't participate. But to sit there and throw somebody on the bus when you have no idea what their situation is financially, personally, unless you're Jonathan Morrison's best friend or one of his friends and you know what's going on in his life, I don't really think you should comment on it. Sean is in the chat. About time you showed up. Thank you, sir. We need to get him back on. So I'm going to reach out to you offline and let you know. We need to get him back
and online as well.
And online, because we also need to have him. We need some financial talks, and we need to kind of break it up a little bit. And Shark's fantastic. I love him. He's one of my favorite people. Very intelligent when it comes to the finance world. Knows way more than I do, and I work in kind of sort of banking finance, and he knows more than I do. So
there's another segment I want to do. Right, it's another from another podcast I listen to rather.
Okay.
Where they read statements, and the other person has to strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree.
Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah,
okay, we didn't talk about this before the show, by the way. So if anybody's
this isn't today. I'm going to prepare it for you. Next time we've got a show just me and you, I'm going to prepare some statements, and you're going to have to tell me if you strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree. There's no fence sitting in the middle.
Right, and here's the thing, and we should call it shirt talk.
Shirt talk.
Shirt talk. That should do. Absolutely. So we should do
this shirt was £6 from Morrison's.
Is that a department store?
It's it's a supermarket.
You bought a shirt from a grocery store?
Yeah. For £6, dude. It was £16.
I didn't know they sold £6.
I mean,
I didn't know that they sold shirts at it. Like Walmart, they do because they sell groceries.
Yeah.
Is it like a Walmart kind of thing where it's like it has a grocery store and then like some department store? Like, is it like a Walmart?
Mine was quite small though. Mine was quite small, so it had like a couple of fixtures by the entrance, and that was it.
Okay, that's a little weird.
They don't do much menswear. Like they have like seasonal bits every now and again.
Well, I wouldn't think so because it's a grocery store, so I wouldn't think that.
No, but like Tesco's, Sainsbury's, they all have clothes. Asda, they all do clothes in the UK. Yeah, all of them.
Heat wave. Oh yeah, the Eastern US, all the way. Yeah, it's a little warm. It's actually not too bad here in St. Louis. Actually, it's only 90 today, which is not bad. But it's folks, it's the summer. And this is for all you people who are during the wintertime are complaining about it being cold. And boy, I can't wait till okay, well, here you are. Now it's 106 and you're in a heat wave. So here's what I always make my argument about weather. If it's cold, there are people who are living in Antarctica right now and they're fine. Right? It's cold. There's nothing growing because it's 4 million degrees below zero, but they're able to live there. But if you're cold, you can always either insulate, dress warmly, whatever. If you're in an area where it's 115 degrees Fahrenheit, so it's like 4 degrees Celsius, and you're naked and you're still hot and you're not in AC, you're kind of stuck. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, right? So I would much rather have cold weather than heat. I don't like the heat. It's not my thing. Anyway, so
I do like heat, but more for a holiday, not for.
Yeah, if you're like at the beach or something, cool. You can get into a water or a pool. Totally okay. Yeah, they're going to be getting it next week. Yeah, let's just find out. So, yeah, again, like I said, I didn't know he was having these struggles. I just happened to see, because I do follow him. I wouldn't call myself an avid watcher of his channel. I do see some of his content. Honestly, and this is nothing against Jonathan Morrison, I don't think he does anything that anybody else doesn't do. I don't see, at least some people like, David Kogan or Michael Fisher or Marquez or, Jerry Rig. They do something that's different. He kind of slots in with all those kind of guys that do the same kind of thing. I've never had a problem with him. I think his content is decent, but I follow him. But I wouldn't say like, well, before I buy a device, I need to hear what Jonathan Morrison has to say. I don't ever speak that. But here's the thing. He's still a human being, and John still deserves respect and understanding and some grace. And again, like I said, if he has every right to start a GoFundMe or whatever, if he's got medical funds or medical costs. Because here's the thing, folks. In the United States, I don't know if you know it or not, maybe it's not this in the UK where you have the National Health Service, maybe it's different. But in the United States, even if you have a lot of people who are self-employed don't have the access to a private, insurance like, I do through work. People act like these people are sitting there on millions and millions of dollars because they do this. They may not. They may have a situation where his wife or his spouse isn't working. Who knows? I don't know. Who knows? Again, unless you're living with Jonathan Morrison, you know him personally, or you're his accountant, you need to shut your fucking head and don't talk about it. And again, I saw that he has a GoFundMe. I'm not contributing to it because I don't know the guy and I'm not that interested in contributing. I have no problem with him doing or anybody else. Or everybody's all shitty about Viper starting a fund to buy a Vision Pro. You don't want to have Viper have a Vision Pro. Don't fucking give him any money. Let him buy it himself. That's on you. But to sit there, the fact that he did it, it's just, who cares? Nobody gives a shit what you think. Like, seriously, dude. Come on, Dan.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. Like what Dan said, don't be a shithead. That's a different connotation for me. That's basically people who are criminals. We call them shitheads, but whatever.
Shitheads.
So I'm just funny. So what are you going to do with this? Are you going to keep the Xperia or are you going to ditch it? I think you're going to get rid of it.
I have to keep it for 90 days before I can switch it. But yeah, after 90 days.
Did you get it through work, I guess? With like a trade-up?
Yeah, it's on my contract.
Okay. Well, I like to have a headphone jack. That's kind of cool. Have you tried that out?
Don't get me wrong. I'm going to have fun with it. I'm really enjoying the telemacro mode. I'll send you some shots I've taken with that. That's really fun. And I missed 21:9, but it still is thinner than other phones. So it doesn't look that much thinner than the OnePlus there, though. But it is a little bit thinner.
Well, it's funny. You didn't show thinner. You showed taller. You didn't turn it. Yeah,
you can't really see. That's why it is a little bit thinner, but the cases make it look the same.
It's not terrible. Obviously,
fingerprint scanner is amazing because I love capacitive fingerprint scanner.
Right. I think though. I think that, like you said earlier, I think the OnePlus. I think you're smitten. I think you're all in.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what it is. I mean, the screen's nice. The 1080p is not an issue at all. Going from 4K. Right. You really don't notice it. The haptics are still not great. The camera's fun to use, but I don't think the telephoto's enough of improvement. And the telephoto on this is my favorite lens on this phone, on the OnePlus.
So it's pretty solid. Yeah, it seems pretty solid.
Yeah, like 10x, even 10x in good light is really good. but 6X and 3X on it is fantastic.
So I guess my question is, when you bought coming into the OnePlus, was this your first OnePlus? I think this was the first OnePlus device.
First OnePlus, yeah, and
it
won't
seems
be
like
my last, that's for sure.
I was gonna say it seems like you had kind of like I guess a guarded expectation. I think this thing is really kind of like impressed you. I mean, I didn't. I thought you'd kind of be like, yeah, it's all right, it's pretty good. The camera's okay. Especially when you got to the camera, because I know how you are. I thought I can't really tell. I thought the OnePlus camera is pretty good, but also I'm not taking those kind of pictures you and maybe Dan are taking. So I thought if it's going to fall down, that's where it's going to die, because that's where it normally dies on a OnePlus, right? The camera has always been kind of something.
No, I'd say it's up there with the rest.
Yeah. I think they've done a really great job. I think the Hasselblad, and I think their constant effort working on that. Also, they have the Oppo, right? Because obviously it's still BBK. I think OnePlus is solid. I really wish they had a better, I guess, a better presence in the US. I know they tried with T-Mobile for a while. They had phones, but OnePlus is solid, man. I really miss having one. That's the one phone I miss currently. Obviously, I miss HTC and all the other phones that wouldn't work. You know, they aren't going to be updated, but I think OnePlus is really doing a great job in the United States. I really wish they could find a way to kind of get in the same. I wish if the OnePlus Open was at like a AT&T store, I would upgrade to it. If they had like a new one coming out, I would get that instead of the Fold or the Fold 6 or whatever it would be, 7. I really wish. I really like OnePlus a lot. It's a shame. I wish I had one handy, but whatever, I don't. So
you had one.
I had one, and I had to get rid of it because every time I get one, I get into that situation, always something comes up and it just sucks. So
yeah, it's just the way life goes, isn't it? That's what I say. That's what I said earlier, wasn't it? Sometimes you have to get rid of a device you don't want to get rid of, but you just have to.
Yeah, life happens. So, but anyway, so yeah, that's we're at an hour, so I think we're going to try to
really quick. I think because we didn't have a show last week, it went really, really quick this week. Absolutely.
And we had great conversations as always. And Joe in his $6 shirt, which is awesome. Appreciate it. And Michael Kirkman, it's okay. You had to come late. Yeah. Is that the OnePlus 12? Yeah, it is the OnePlus 12.
Well, Sam, can I correct you there? It was £6. So it's in dollars. So it's be a little bit more.
$8.50, like $8.50. It's like $8.50. It's okay. It still doesn't make it cool. It just makes it more expensive in the United States. It's okay. And yes, Michael, he has it is the OnePlus 12. He doesn't have the Ace 3 or the 11. It's hard to tell because, like I said, the 11 looks pretty similar, but no, he has OnePlus 12. Yeah, and it's and here's the thing: if it's impressed Joe, especially at the camera level, that may be a phone that if folks you were kind of maybe hedging on it, you weren't really sure if you're looking for another phone, you might want to consider that, especially considering the landscape in Android is starting to still kind of be sparse. Obviously you don't have the Huawei's and those kind of things. And in the UK you have a little bit more options. But in the United States, if you have access to getting a OnePlus device, like a OnePlus 12 or 12R or even an Open, and you're looking to upgrade, maybe you're off that Moto or you're off a contract and you think, man, I don't want to get into another like contract with a Samsung and be an S24 Ultra or S24 Plus. I can buy one off contract, maybe unlocked. I would steer you towards OnePlus. I think you would. I think it'll hit all the things you need to hit.
So, John, it's pretty key with a phone as well, connectivity, right? Someone I know who said it was better than his 15 Pro. Someone in the media group who originally sold me this because he's got another one for sale now. And Manos as well also said connectivity-wise, it was better than his Pro Max and his Pixel. So it was getting reception in places where the other two phones weren't.
And this is something I can't even believe that Dan's expressing out loud, that he may swap out his Xperia 1.6. I know you two.
He's very underwhelmed.
There's two people who are really awesome when it comes to Xperias and who are really, really champion the brand, and it's you and Dan. And the fact that you guys are kind of like, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I think now there's a lot more competition between. I mean, look at you. If that OnePlus 12 hadn't gotten your hand, I think you'd be all in on the OnePlus of the Xperia 6.
Yeah,
but now that you are, you're like, okay, especially for the price point, because I know that Xperia is not cheap at all.
No, it's not. But it's a fantastic phone. I wouldn't downplay it. I'd say it's a fantastic phone. Video is very good on it. like
Oh yeah,
it has been for years with Sony now. The main camera's same as last year, fantastic. Telemacro mode is really fun to use. Although Dan's not a fan, he said it's too fiddly,
yeah,
but I enjoy it. But yeah, it's just doesn't excite me.
right. Well, and then I get and then it's like I don't know. Like I said, honestly, I think at this point, if I could get rid of if I can only have one phone right now, and it's like okay, you lose all your phones today, and you only can have one for the rest of the 2024 and then into 25. What would you get? I think I would get a OnePlus Open. I think is what I would get.
Yeah, I'd be interested to use one definitely because the cameras are quite similar on that. I've heard.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and the 12R is identical to the Ace. I think it's pretty much the same thing. I think Ace is for Chinese or Indian markets, or obviously not U.S. market. And the OnePlus 9 Pro is another great time. I just like Oxygen OS, even if it's a rebranded ColorOS. I don't care; it doesn't matter. I just like OnePlus devices. I've been a fan. I've owned them since the original OnePlus One. Right, I've had one OnePlus 3T, a 5, a 6, a 9 Pro. I had the 10T and then the 12. And honestly, I think, I think pound for pound, for dollar, I think OnePlus is really bringing. And they have something going on where I think if you had a Samsung Z Fold 5, you could trade it and get like $800 off. So basically, you can get if you had a completely paid off
in
Fold
the
5.
US, yeah. Not in the UK though.
You got a one. I have, like I said, if this was paid off, I could trade this in and get a OnePlus Open for 500 quid. That's a pretty good deal, considering the fact that even on the used market, they're still about $1,000. And I'm like, that's basically what's stopping me from getting one. I just don't have the money.
No trading at all in the UK.
But if you're sitting on a phone like that and you're wanting to get away from it, and they're really pushing away that people who are on the foldables are really ditching their Z Fold 5, they're getting on the board with the OnePlus Open. I want to check out the Open Canvas. I really want to see that software. I think it's pretty slick. It looks really good. So, well, who knows? Crazy things happen. I'm not sure, but yeah, get yourself a OnePlus. If you're out in the market, I would highly recommend one of those. Joe's been very happy with it. I've enjoyed my OnePlus devices. And that's kind of where we're going to leave it.
OnePlus.
Get yourself a watch too. All right, Joe. Anything else before we wrap it up for this Sunday? Nothing.
No, let's wrap it up. I think we're good. We are very good.
We have no guests, so we will see. Maybe we'll get somebody. I've reached out to a couple of people, haven't heard anything back, but we'll try to see if we can get a guest. And like I said, anybody who's listening to chat, if you want to come on the show, and especially Shark, I need to get a hold of you. We'd like to have you on maybe next couple of weeks if your schedule allows. Anybody else? Just give us a holler. Reach out to our MeWe group. Check that out. Link is in the show notes. Send me an email. It's Nomad Tech Project at gmail.com, right? I think it's what it is. I can't remember.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think it's on the show notes. I don't think I've ever put it on there. Any word on Pixel Fold 2? I don't think so. I think we're waiting for that to be heard because we're also waiting to see if they're going to maybe skip it and make sure it has the Tensor G4 in it. We don't know. We'll see. And Nick, we appreciate it, man. Always, man. Thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate you stopping by, listening to the show, downloading it. Also, after the show, realize it is a podcast. This is really a podcast. We just happen to have a live stream component to it. Download that podcast, right? And show it to listen to it, and then tell your friends about it. And we really appreciate everybody coming by and spending an hour.
What time is it for Nick right now?
I don't know what time it is there. It might be a couple hours ahead. It might be late. Maybe early hours, early morning. We don't know. We'll see. Well, either way, we really appreciate you coming by, and then also the great words of encouragement, and thank you very much. We appreciate that you like the show. We really try to do a good job, and that means a lot. So we thank you very much.
7:30 a.m.
7:30. Oh, gosh.
What a legend. Thank you very much.
Awesome, my friend. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming in. Again, remember, download the podcast, share it with all amongst your friends. Check out the Nomad Tech Project YouTube channel. Also, want to say really quickly to Lenny Bonds. I heard his mother has passed a couple of weeks ago. Unfortunately, I've been in that situation with a mother who has left left our world. It sucks, man. And so my heart goes out to you and your family. Condolences on your loss. And like I said, we love and support you. And thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to come on and have this platform. And we really appreciate that. Condolences to Lenny and his family. We are thinking about them and also keeping them in our minds. And also, if you have a chance to reach out to Lenny, maybe send him some heartfelt love. That would be fantastic. They would really appreciate it. So, condolences to Lenny Bonds, and we love you, sir. Anyways, and hate that on such a down note. Again, smash the like button, stay hydrated. Don't be an asshole, right? Be a good person. Be a good human.
Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick in your shit. And we will catch you on the next episode of the Nomad Tech Project next Sunday. 2 or 3. We aren't sure. We haven't let you know. And we love you guys. Take care of yourself. Enjoy your tech. And be excellent to each other. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.